Hey kids, this is Ivan. How you doing? You've woken up, haven't you? You've realized that the life you're living right now is not going to live to the life that you want no matter how long you do it. And you've realized, worse, that the 9 to 5 system, the system as a whole, is rigged. And power and money are concentrated in the hands of certain people by design. This is not an accident. And at this point, you have three options as far as I see it. The first one is you can become outraged. And that's a very logical reaction. It's not going to get you anywhere, but you can go on internet forums and talk about how outraged you are and talk with your friends at the bar or the coffee shop. You can even start a YouTube channel and talk about how outraged you are. And at the end of the day, it's going to feel good and feel righteous, but you're just going to be outraged and you're not going to be any closer to getting out of where you are right now. The second thing you could do is to advocate for change on a systemic level, like on a political level. But I would not hold your breath. Evidence has pointed to us that this doesn't seem to work very well lately. The system has really been quite rigged in the United States since the 1980s, since they changed a lot of the laws. And the people that are elected to office tend to come from that upper echelon of society in the first place, don't they? And they tend to be financed by the ultra-rich and by the corporations, and they tend to say anything to get elected. And once they get elected, well, what do they actually do? So, at this point, you're left with option number 3, which I think is the scariest but the most logical, which means you have to exit the system. And I'm not talking about in a crazy way where you just go pack up everything, sell all your belongings, and live in a cabin in the woods, unless you want to do that, in which case there's nothing wrong with that. I just don't happen to want to do that. You have to figure out something that you're going to do to get out of the grind that you're in and to be able to live the life that you want to. And so at this point, there's things that you're going to have to do, because at the end of this, okay, what do I do? Now that I've realized I need to do something, what is it? Well, the first thing is come to grips with the fact that nobody is going to save you. I wish somebody would come and save me, but that's not what's going to happen. And yeah, I play the lottery and the Powerball every once in a while when it gets up to be, $57 gazillion. But let's be real here. The chances of you or I winning one of those lotteries is slightly less than the chances of me being eaten by a shark right now while I'm recording this video in my room. So it's probably not going to happen. So you're going to have to do something for yourself. At that point, you have to redefine what is security exactly. We have been programmed over and over again to believe that security is a 9 to 5 job and a steady paycheck, and putting all of our effort into a company and a good education and a good job and all that kind of stuff. We have to redefine what that is, and that it's been demonstrated to us over and over again. That's not really very secure at all. Not only is it not producing what we want, but it's becoming less and less secure over time. You just have to watch the news to figure that out if you haven't had it impact you already in your own life. So you have to redefine what that is. And in a lot of cases, security is going to be in the skills that you have, in the ownership of your time, of like being you and yourself, and like how marketable are you. And I'm not talking about being marketable in terms of getting another job. You have to get past that paradigm, which is hard. It's more about, well, what can I do? What skills do I have that I'm going to buy, that I can actually sell to other people? And the thing is, at this point, age doesn't matter, because we start to say stupid things to ourselves, like, well, I'm 57, and so if I develop these other skills, it's not going to matter because who's going to hire me? But I got news for you. If I want a bass guitar built for me by Michael Tobias or by Nino Valenti, I don't care how old they are. Nino's a little bit younger than Michael Tobias. I just care about the fact that they can do the job that I want. So it's not going to be any different for you at that point. You have to audit your dependencies a little bit. And if there's things that you can cut back on them. And that may vary from person to person. I'm looking at certain things that I might be able to do here. And I'm not saying you need to cut your lifestyle to shreds, but just take an honest look. What do you really need? Because the less that you are owned by the system in terms of debt or bills or all this kind of stuff, the less they own you, the more freedom you have to move around doing other things. Build some kind of proof of work. Start small. Do something. Figure out, what can I do? And it could be a side hustle. You don't have to build everything at once and build this grand escape plan and company. Just do something. Prove to yourself that you're not stuck. Even playing out music, for me, well, it's a side hustle. Find some kind of side hustle. Doing this, for me, is a side hustle, and maybe it'll become the main thing. Who knows what's going to happen? But start to do something. Figure out what you're good at that you can actually, do in the marketplace and get money for, where you're not beholden to other people. Find other people that are on the same path. Find people that have woken up as well and that are figuring out what to do, that maybe are farther along than you are, or maybe right where you are. And these people will be the people you talk to. Like, you don't necessarily have to collaborate with them unless you want to. It's more like, how are things going for you? What's working for you? Sometimes you just need to be cheerleaders for each other, because living outside of the system, outside of the paradigm, is hard because there's so much programming. And no, I'm not talking about some nefarious group of people that are programming us to keep us down. Yeah, there's some bad players that take advantage of how things are. It's just that societal meme that's been repeated to us over and over again by well-meaning people till we're repeating it ourselves. And it's being repeated to us by the people that we know. I was just at work today and some guy said, well, your job isn't that bad. And I said, yeah, it's not that bad. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. And he didn't, he wasn't trying to keep me down. He was just saying what looked right to him at that point. But that's part of how the system perpetuates itself and keeps you stuck and keeps you small. So find these other people. Maybe you need to find mentors or coaches or people that can really help you along on a larger level. But find the people that are doing what you want to do. And no, it doesn't have to be the same exact method of escape. But people that are realizing that they can live outside the system. There's lots and lots of resources when it comes to that. And create something. Don't just consume. Figuring out what you can do, what you can create, whether it's, for sheer artistic pleasure or for something you realize, hey, I'm doing this, I'm not really bad at this. I can do this, I can create this thing, write this blog, make this product, make this widget, come up with this solution to anything. Start to prove to yourself that your identity doesn't depend upon a job and depend upon somebody else saying, yes, it's okay, we'll hire you. But you, in and of yourself, are able to support yourself by what you do. But you have to start creating something and not just being a consumer. So the system isn't going to change for you, but you can change how you operate in it. You're going to have to, changing how you relate to it. You're still have to deal with it to a certain sense because we need money and stuff to survive. And, my girlfriend and I were sitting outside drinking coffee today, watching the wind blow through the trees, having, watching the dogs, having this wonderful moment. And I realized, well, we want this stuff, so we're going to have to pay for it. You don't have to win the rigged game. Don't play in the rigged game. Win outside that rigged game. Let other people play that rigged game because it's probably going to stay rigged, at least, from as far as I can see. You can walk away from the table and build a better one. You're not stuck what you're doing. And I don't care how old you are. There's still time. It's not easy. It's not going to be quick, but it's going to be real. So if stuff like this hits home, if it makes sense to you, or if it resonates with you, go ahead and like the video. Hit subscribe because I'll make more. And reach out. Give me a comment if there's something that you've taken away from this video, or if you disagree, or whatever happens to be. Let me know. And share this with somebody that's waking up. And if you want to talk, if you're already building your escape plan, I'd love to hear from you. And if you're really stuck, I'd love to hear from you as well. Maybe we can talk and figure that out as well. Have a good one, kids.